Tonight we're going to talk about how to do this rejection free. So it doesn't really matter if you have a network marketing business that's using nutritionals, or if you're an affiliate marketer and it's just a straight up make money online thing, or if you're working with us or whatever. It just doesn't matter. The principles I'm going to share with you apply. For those of you who don't know who I am, or maybe you're coming across this video later on a recording on YouTube, I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this over 20 years. I'm usually the number one guy or the number two guy in any program that I promote. Right now in my current program for November, the newest one I just started, I'm number one so far for the month. And I sponsor a lot of people with no selling. I mean, it's amazing. I meet some old time network marketers sometimes, and they just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And it's just unbelievable to me that people actually operate that way. I'm talking here, obviously, I talk in these presentations, but when it comes to building my business and talking to prospects, I almost do no talking at all, which is funny because we want to talk about, let me get a text document here. Let's blow this up. If you don't like the fact that I haven't taken 15 hours to prepare some really beautiful PowerPoint presentations for you, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have that kind of time. I just helping my daughter with homeschool. We were learning about vacuoles and mitochondria and chloroplasts, and my alarm went off and I'm like, oh, I got to do a webinar. So the other thing is, guys, a lot of you are new to this sort of thing, and you think this is like a big complicated process, long runway. You got to learn all this fancy technical stuff to be able to do this. You don't. I'm using a text document. I'm typing, and I figured out how to create a live event in YouTube, which took me about, I'm like, something's wrong with me in terms of my understanding of how YouTube live events work, because it was beyond difficult the first time I figured it out. And now I'm like, oh, it's simple. You just got to know where to find the button. So, guys, you really don't have to know any of that crap. There's a few things you got to know, okay? You got to know how to communicate in such a way to get a result. Now, when I talk about when you guys are trying to build, you started your network marketing business and you're trying to build it, and what do people typically do when they start out? What's the most common thing? Hey, Thomas. Hey, Nick. Hey, Nick. What's up, buddy? What's the most common thing people do when they start out? Usually they make a list, and then they bother the list. Call everyone you know. Pester them until they submit, until they tap out. Call them again. Right? I mean, this is how, call them again. This is how salespeople teach you to do it. Right? And then what do? We wait for Thanksgiving, giving dinner, and pitch them again. Hey, Thanksgiving's coming, guys. It's a great opportunity to pitch your business to your family. Oh my God. I don't do any of this crap, but this is what most people do anyway. When I do it, there's no pressure, no selling, there's no explaining, there's no pushing, there's no arguing, there's no resentment, there's no anxiety, there's no awkwardness. There's no communication breaks. Communication break it's like when you have a conversation with someone that you know, and somewhere along the line it gets just a little bit uncomfortable, and then every time you call them after that, they don't answer your phone. It's a communication break. I don't want that. And some of you guys just had some bad teaching in the past. It could be. I don't know. Some of you guys on here, I know you've been in network marketing before. And the other thing I want to say is, it doesn't matter what I teach you. If you're not willing to get to work, you ain't going to make crap. And so number one, willingness to work. Number two, willingness to communicate. All right, so if we got those two things, everything else we can work with. Everything else is easy as far as I'm concerned. This is the hardest thing right here. So you kind of got to look at it this way. Is it worth putting 60 minutes a day in every single day for a year so that you never have to worry about money again? And if your answer to that is yes, then you better be setting aside an hour a day to build your business. And it doesn't matter if you're sick, and it doesn't matter what comes up or what the soccer game is or who has a birthday or who's having a funeral. You get your hour a day in. I mean, that's just commitment, right? This I can't teach. And unfortunately, that's really the governor on most businesses growing. Those other people are willing to get to work. But let's look at it like this. What is it that causes you to restrain yourself from putting that hour or 2 hours a day in? Well, what I know from doing this for a long time is most people, they don't want to get started because they're afraid, because they think they have to pressure people and they have to sell and they have to explain a bunch of stuff and they have to push on people, and they end up arguing with people and people get resentful and it's anxiety ridden and it's awkward. So if we just eliminate all this, what would you have for an excuse to not get to work? If we eliminate all that, then all you have left is, well, I'm just lazy, right? And I've had people tell me before, look, I don't know what to tell you. I'm broke as hell. And I don't want to do anything. I say, well, at least you're honest about it and you're not bullshitting me, right? So guys, this is so simple. Now, let's talk about this make a list thing. Why this is a problem. Now, a lot of these things you see out here, these autopilot marketing system things you see out here, I have no problem with those. But the idea that you're going to start brand new and have autopilot income, I mean, you might as well just wish for $1 bajillion or go play the lottery, because that's something you have to build into. They use that as a button to get you to buy their stuff. Never bug your friends and family. Well, great. I don't know. Maybe you don't like your family. Anything's possible. I don't know why you'd be bugging your friends and family either way. The only way you'd bug your friends and family is if you don't know how to approach this. So some people get these two things confused. Bothering people gets confused with making a list. Making a list doesn't bother people. Making a list is just making a list. You know, I got Tony and he's at 555 whatever, and I got Bill, he's at whatever that is, and then I got Sarah, you know, and she's at this. I mean, you just make the list. Anything to do with bugging people. Now I got Tony's info. I can call him and bug him. I sure can if I want to. I mean, I could just call Tony up and just be vulgar if I want to bug him. But I don't particularly see any reason to bug Tony, whether I'm deciding to communicate with him or not. But one thing's for sure, if you want your business to grow, you're going to have to work and you're going to have to communicate. Now, remove all communication, you remove all business. So if I want to communicate with Tony and I want to do it without bugging him, how do I do that? If I want to do it so that Tony's always happy to hear from me, and Tony may or may not join, and he may or may not buy anything, and I don't really care either way. And I think that's probably one of the main differences between anybody who's watching this and me, is I just don't care. I just don't care whether he buys anything. I don't care whether he joins. And one of the biggest problems I see people have when they first start out is they're so desperate for money. Oh my God, I got to get a commission. I got to get a commission right away. Oh my Lord, he must buy something from me. My electricity's going to get shut off. So guys, it's so much simpler and everybody makes it. It is astounding to me that anyone ever stays broke. I mean, it's like I have this down to a science. I've been doing this so long, I don't even have to think about it. And I onboard new people. It's like the degree of complexity that gets entered into this is so beyond astounding to me. I can't even believe it. And I see it every day. So what do we know? We know if we want to build our business, we have to communicate, because if we don't communicate, we don't have any prospects. So we don't have any prospects. We don't have anybody to show the business to. If we don't have anybody to show the business to, obviously nobody can join it or nobody can buy our product. Yeah. So there's a sequence we have to go through. So if we have the goal at the end, business is growing, we work backwards. Well, what would have to happen before somebody joins our business? Before somebody actually enrolls, what has to happen? Well, they're probably going to have to get some data. They're probably going to have to see some kind of a presentation, yes? Maybe after the presentation, maybe they'll have some questions. For me, I'd say it's about half and half. About half of them, that's not what I wanted to type. About half of them, go ahead and join after the presentation. About half of them have some questions before they join. Goal, join their business. I'm using join. This could be sale, your product sale. Well, how are you going to get people through the presentation? How's that going to happen? Right? You got a guy and he's over there. You know, here, let's do this. Here, let's get real fancy with our, high resolution, impressive mouse drawing artisticness. You got a guy, he's over here. Okay, this is Guy. And you're over here. And you got real long arms. You're happy today. Okay, and this is you. Well, how do we get this guy? Where's my other paper? Oh, how do we get that guy through the presentation? I want you to think about the simplicity of this. All we got to do is get people through a freaking presentation, guys. You don't even have to do the presentation. I don't care what your product or your business is. You got to have some kind of presentation recorded, right? Someone upline from you who knows what they're doing has some kind of effective presentation. It's probably likely not something the company has provided. Just over the years, I found that most of these companies aren't very good at that stuff, and that's why they're using this model, is because they need you. But somewhere up the line, you have a presentation. So if all you understood you ever had to do was just get this guy through the presentation, well, seems to me that's pretty simple. Here, this represents the presentation. Well, how do we get him there? We're going to have to communicate with him, aren't we? Before he's going to see the presentation, we probably have to invite him, wouldn't we? How could we invite him? Under what circumstances would we invite someone to see the presentation? Would you just run up to someone in the grocery store and say, hey, guy, watch my presentation? How do you think that would go? Oh, I know. We'll go out to the mall and we walk up to random people and we go, hey, have you heard about this new super juice? Oh, yeah, it makes people live longer and cures your arthritis. And you just go on and on for 20 minutes about your product, right? See, usually what people do is they just start talking. They just start doing the presentation. And that's absolutely not going to work. So I can pretty much guarantee every person who ever has said to me, I talked to a bunch of people, but nobody wanted to do it. They just started doing the presentation. Before I ever invite someone, let's think about it. We're having we got a bowling league, and every Tuesday night we meet for bowling. We get together and have some beers and cigars, and we have a good time bowling. And there's a new friend you got, or a cousin or something, and you want to see if maybe he'd like to participate in the bowling league. Would you walk up to him and do a half-hour long presentation about bowling and tell them about how, our lanes are the smoothest in the city, and, um, you know, our bowling balls, they get washed twice a day, and the bathrooms are clean at this bowling alley. So you never have to worry about that. And, the people who run the bowling alley, they're really nice people. And, sometimes if there's an extra lane open, they'll let you use both lanes. They won't even charge you, It seems like kind of a waste of time to me. It might be smart to find out if the guy has any interest at all in bowling in the first place, don't you think? Before you invite him bowling? Hey, you like bowling? You do? I mean, no biggie, right? Well, if I'm going to do that, I got to be in communication with the guy, don't I? And if here's a guy, there's a guy, I don't even know the guy. Well, if I'm going to get to these later steps, how am I going to do it? Well, how am I going to get in communication with him? Well, I got to contact him. What do we have? We have our 7 steps that are always the same 7 steps every single time, every single product, every single opportunity. It doesn't matter. And before we can handle his questions, we have to follow up with them, because otherwise we're not talking to anybody. We're just talking to ourselves. If you go to recruiting mastery class, you learn these backwards and forwards. You drill them. You learn the whole communication formula, how acknowledgments fit in, how to get people to duplicate your communication, how to get a question answered, and all these fundamentals of communication that are the icing on the cake, the expert level, holy crap, I sponsor half the people I talk to type of stuff. These are just common sense. If I want to communicate with someone, I got to contact them. If I want to invite them, I need to qualify them first to see if they're worth inviting. If I'm selling houses, I don't just run around inviting people to open houses. I want to check and see, are you in the market for a house? Have you thought about switching from renting to home ownership? Oh, I see you're getting married. Have you thought about buying your first home? I mean, there's a qualifying process there before we invite them. Why do them out of sequence? It doesn't make any sense. When I'm doing this only. I'm not worried about anything else. When I'm doing this only. I'm not worried about anything else. I don't care what happens. I have a yes or a no on each one. If it's yes, I continue. If it's no, I don't. You want, did I contact him? Yes, no. Does he want to communicate? Yes, no. Okay, he's communicating. Does he qualify? Yes or no? If he qualifies, then I can invite him. Did he accept the invite? Yes or no? If he did, I send him the presentation. After the presentation, did he watch the presentation? Yes, no. Okay, if yes, then I follow up with him to find out what he wants to do. And maybe he's got some questions he needs handled, and maybe he doesn't. And it's always the same. It never, ever changes, ever. Now, this part, you can hire somebody, you can outsource and have them send you traffic. And people put their name, email, or phone number into your web form on your web page. If you're doing the internet marketing thing, they're giving you permission to communicate with them. You haven't really started yet, but in sort of a weak way, your landing page, your opt-in form, qualify the person and invite them to view the video, for example. It's not nearly as effective as doing it one person at a time, but it works. Okay. So if we just forget all the technical stuff and we just look at contacting people, what's the easiest way to contact someone these days? You don't have to call them. You just send them a text message. What if we just wanted to send them a text message, just find out, are they willing to communicate? What if we just said, hey, what's his name? How about Tony? Hey, Tony, wanted to ask you something. You there? There's only 2 outcomes to this, isn't there? Outcome 1. No response. I guess you're done then, aren't you? Outcome 2. Yes. What's up? Binary. Yes, no. Does he want to communicate? Yes or no? So we contacted him here. Does he want to communicate? Well, that's his response. Yes, I'm here. Okay, good. Tony's willing to communicate. Zippity doo dah. On to the next step. What's the next step? Next step is qualify him. Don't go on and tell him all about your stuff. Find out if he's open to looking. So let's do a business approach. You could do this on the phone. You could do it in person. Hey, sir, would you mind if I asked you a couple questions? Okay, great. That's this. You could call him. It doesn't matter what the medium is. Sometimes people get all hung up on the medium. Oh, do you do internet marketing? You do telemarketing? Do you do text marketing? What's the difference? It's all the same stuff. You have a communication medium. Your medium the phone? Is it a text? Is it an email? Is it Facebook? Is it YouTube? Hint. We are doing YouTube right now. I don't care what the medium is. What do I care? Sometimes I'll send them a text. Hey, you there? Yeah, what's up? Dial. Just hit dial. Why do I do that? Because if I don't do that, then I end up making 10 phone calls and only one person answers. When I send him a text and say, hey, I want to ask you something, you there? And he says, yes, what's up? And I dial, he picks up the phone. But maybe you're too afraid to pick up the phone. I think, frankly, that's silly, but whatever. Maybe you want to do it all via text. So where are we at here? He's willing to communicate. Congratulations. Move on to the next step. Qualify him. Let's just make it real simple. Don't explain anything. Don't present anything. Just stop explaining everything. Stop telling people about your product. Stop telling people about your business. Just stop it. Stop doing it. You don't need to. It's completely irrelevant. Sounds weird, doesn't it? How am I supposed to sell stuff? I can't tell them about it. Well, if you're blathering on, tell them about your product and your business. How's it working? I stopped doing that the moment I realized I could just record the video and put it on the internet. And I don't even use my own video half the time. You see the simplicity of this? Just make a rule. I'm not allowed to explain anything and operate with that. Let's qualify them. You writing these questions down? Fill in the blank. Here, we'll put a blank. Hey, blank. Get rid of this to make it clearer. Does it matter what the product is? Nope. Does it matter what the business is? Nope. Does it matter what the compensation plan is? Nope. Does it matter who owns the company? No. Does it matter if it's an online opportunity or an offline opportunity? No. Does it matter where it is? No. Does it matter how tall you are or how fat you are, how old you are? Whether the person you're talking to is a man or a woman, whether they're old or young? No. What are we doing? We're just contacting them. What did I say earlier? When I'm doing this, I'm only doing this. That's the only thing I'm doing. I'm not worried about anything else. Based on their answer, I'm going to determine whether they're willing to communicate. How many of these can you send in a day via text message? I mean, my goodness, even if you had to thumb it all in there on your phone, and even if you have fat finger syndrome like me, where you hit 4 buttons at a time, you have to use the delete button more than the actual type buttons. How many could you do in an hour? 100? 60? I mean, how long does this take to type this? 10 seconds? 15? If it takes you 15 seconds, that's 4 per minute times 60. That's 240. So now we get into a very important principle. Stop worrying about explaining your product and your business. And if they say this, what are you going to say? And how do you overcome that? And they got this problem and they're in a contract. And how does that price fit in and all this nonsense? And I never even worry about any of this crap. All I'm worried about is finding more people to contact. You put 99% of your attention on finding more people to contact and contact them. And forget about all the other crap. Because all the other stuff, if it becomes an issue or the question needs to be answered, that's in a later step. By the time someone's gotten through all this, guess what? There's a reason why they're asking the question, and it's worth you taking the time to answer it at that point. I've seen people spend weeks. I got to study the product and all the ingredients. And all this one ingredient this guy asked me about, is that natural vitamin C or is that synthetic vitamin C? Because, I heard that synthetic vitamin C isn't actually vitamin C. I'm like, hey, good Lord. Just contact some more people. Let's get on with our lives here. You got an hour a day? I suggest you use it on contacting people and communicating, not worried about studying your product ingredients and all that stuff. You want to be a professional? Sure. Take the time to do that. Do it in month 2 or month 3. Do it after you got your first 20 people in your business. Do it after your team hits 50. We only get paid for contacting and communicating, qualifying, and inviting. That's all we really get paid for. The follow-up in most cases is just collecting a decision. There's not much work to be done there. The only thing that's even time-consuming is handling questions for those people who have them, and most of them don't have them. If you're smart, you'll figure out you need to put a video together that answers them before they get asked, and then you never even have to do number 7. I almost never even have to do it. What's this? This is contact. So don't tell me you can't contact 30 people a day. Now you're going to say, well, I don't know more than 30 people. Nonsense. You know 5 people? You contact all 5 of them. You go, hey, blank, wanted to ask you something. You there? It's the same process. You communicate with them. And you go, would you be willing to connect me with 5 people that you know who have blank? Fill in the blank. Would you be willing to connect me with 5 people that you know who maybe aren't 100% satisfied with their lifestyle, might be open to a really good opportunity if one fell in their lap? They might at least be willing to look at it. Who do you know like that? You turn your 5 into 30. You turn your 30 into 150 and your 150 into 600. The very worst that happens is you learned how to ask a question and get it answered, and you have unlimited supply of leads, and you don't even need to know these people. Well, right now, somebody listening to this is thinking, man, that would be scary. Ooh, I don't want to communicate with anyone. Well, what's scarier, being broke as hell or learning to communicate a little bit? It's not like if you're bagging groceries at the grocery store, it's not like you get all stressed about standing there bagging groceries. This is what we do. It's all yes or no. You don't have to think too much. So I wanted to ask you something. You there? Yeah, I'm there. Okay, great. Now let's qualify them. When it comes to making money, are you married to blank? Are you married to being a lawyer? Are you married to waiting tables? Are you married to doing oil changes? Are you married to your job at the bakery? Are you married to working at Target? Fill in the blank. Or are you at all open to something simple and sensible? What do you think they say? There's only 2 answers. There's yes or no. You know what most of them say? They say, what is it? If you say, would you be open to something like that? And they say, what is it? Does that seem like a no or a yes? Seems like a yes to me, but if you're not sure, you can always clarify. Oh, another big important point there to catch. If you're not sure, just clarify. And it doesn't seem like I'm not sure if he's really open to it. Well, why don't you just ask him? Are we so engaged in this game of deception and trying to sneak our way through to ask people a question that we can't ask a question? So he says, yeah. Well, it doesn't sound to me like he's too open to it. I might say, well, it's not like mandatory or anything. I mean, if you're not open to it, I'm not going to bug you about it. But if you're open to looking at something that makes sense, it'll make you some extra money. Let me know. Are you open or not? Yeah, I'm open. Okay, good. What am I doing? I'm just qualifying them. That's all I'm doing. See, he may not qualify. I don't tell him that because that sounds arrogant. But I do ask him the question. What was the first question? How did we contact him? Anybody remember? Hey, blank, wanted to ask you something. You there? Does it have to be these exact words? Oh, I altered a word. It's not exactly like Alan told me. No, how about hi, blank? Got 2 questions for you. Got 60 seconds. How about yo, dog? How you feeling? Want to ask you something. You available now? It's not the words, it's the concept. Qualify. When it comes to making money, are you married to blank? Are you open at all? Something simple and sensible. Again, so are you like completely dedicated to being a baker, or if something came along where you could make a bunch of extra money but it was simple and sensible, would you be open to looking at it? Well, what is it? Well, I'm happy to share the info with you if you're open to something like that. Are you open to something like that? Yeah. What is it? Okay, great. Now that's the next. He's qualified now. Now we're going to invite him. You ready? It's pretty tough. If I put some information in front of you, can you look at it right away? 4 questions, guys. 4 questions and a texting device. And you could build a massive organization. Doesn't matter if it's text, could be email, could just call them, could do it on Facebook messages. It doesn't matter. You just need guy or gal and you. So he's willing to look at it or he's not. Yes? He's willing to look at it or he's not. What if he says maybe? Oh no, he said maybe. What do I do with that? Well, what do we do if we're not sure? Clarify. I mean, just like you would with anything in life. Are you coming to the party? Maybe. All right. Well, I mean, are you coming to the party or not? Maybe doesn't work. I don't know what to do with maybe. I'm not forcing. I'm not here for you or for me. I'm here for you. I'll send it to you if you want to look at it. If you're just trying to be nice to me. I mean, this isn't help Alan out. This is like, if you're open to it and want to look at the data, I'll send it to you. You want to look at it or not? Okay. Yeah, I do. All right, great. Now the maybe's gone. I'm only doing that step at that time. I'm qualifying him. I'm inviting him. Where in this process have I explained the product or the business? Nowhere. Is there somewhere in here where I should be doing that? No. If he wants the information, this is the question right here. If I put it in front of you, can you look at it right away? Well, let's use our heads at this point. Someone will say, I can look at it right now. Some of them will say, no, I can't look at it now, but I can look at it later. Okay, great. Well, what time can you have watched it by? I tell them it's a 15-minute video. You can't watch a 15-minute video right now? No? Okay. Can you watch it by 8 o'clock tonight? You can? Great. I'll call you back at 8 o'clock after you watch the video. Now, here we book the follow-up before sending them the info. Why? Because I don't want to be calling this guy back 15 days in a row. If he's going to say no, I want to hear it now. I don't want to hear it after spending 4 hours trying to get a hold of him. At this point, I like to be on the phone if possible, because variables come up and then they get, he says, yeah, I'd be open to something. I might say, great, let me call you. Ring. Hello. Hey, listen, I want to get you this information. If I put the info in front of you, can you look at it right away? Yeah. Well, you don't sound very sure. Will you look at it or what? Yeah, I'll look at it. Great. So video's 15 minutes. I'll call you back in 16 minutes. Oh, I can't look at it now. Okay. See, that's why I'm calling you. When can you watch it by? Well, tonight. So if I call you at 8 o'clock tonight, will you have watched it by then? Yeah. Okay, good. Because I just want to call and get your collect a decision either way. If you want to move forward, great. If you don't, that's fine too. I just want to know. If it's a no, I want to know. I want to know fast. Then I can cross you off the list or leave you on the list, give you whatever you need. I don't care what you do. It's up to you. I'm not calling to bug you about it. I just want to collect your decision. Now, I wouldn't tell them all that, but I'm just giving you that for your data. I'm giving you the mindset here. This is how I look at it. I don't care what the result is. Why don't I care? Because there's always another person. There's 7 billion people in the world. All I got to do is run this process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. It goes 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2, 3. 4. 5. 6. No. Not for him. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. New member of my business. 1, 2, 3. Nope. Doesn't qualify. 1, 2, 3. Nope. Doesn't qualify. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. Yay. Called him back. Didn't answer. Well, done. On to the next person. You see, I run the same thing over and over again. This is all I'm doing all day long. After they've seen the presentation, which you do not do, use a video or webinar for the presentation. Why? Because you say, if I put some information in front of you, will you take a look at it right away? And they go, well, can you just tell me what it is? And if you want to do it wrong, you go, well, here's what it is. It's this and it's that. And our scientists can beat up your scientists and, all this stuff. We call that a Q&A. That's a mistake. Guys, what you really have to get about this is the correct data. The internet is full of incorrect data. I'm giving you the correct data. And sometimes when you take this, it's not instinctive. It's not instinctual for you to apply it this way. But if you apply it correctly, it works like a dream. If you really want to get the full, shebang and all the correct data on this, you want to see the recruiting mastery class. Some of you guys own that. And I know you haven't studied it. Just looking at the names here. This is all in there. But it goes more in depth. How to get a question answered. How to acknowledge. How to make sure you've gotten duplicated. How to word different things. But it's not that significant. So look at after the presentation, right? We book the follow-up. If they're like, no, don't call me. All right. Well, they're not qualified. If they're not willing to even give you their decision, even if it's a no. Here's another point you can note down. This is a big, important point. I always make it okay for them to say no. And the better I know the person, the more I make it okay for them to say no. Listen, I'm going to send you this information. You're going to look at it. Whatever you decide is totally okay with me. I'm not going to call and bug you and pressure you. It's not part of what we do. But if it's something you want to learn more about, I'll help you with it. And if it's not for you, just tell me. You're not obligated to do anything to try to help me out. That's not what this is about. So just give me your honest response after you see it. Cool? Okay, cool. Yeah. Whew, man, oh, what a relief that for them, right? Oh God, I thought he was going to call me back and talk to me for 90 minutes. Salespeople, they have a real problem with this. Why don't I want to call them back and badger them for an hour and make them buy? Because that's not what we do. If you do that, you're breaking the comm line. They're going to stop taking all your calls. They're going to stop reading your emails, and they're going to resent you. See, I can't force them to start a business and build a business. They have to want to do it. And if you have a decent presentation that covers all the right points and they watch it and they don't get it, you jabbering at them for another hour ain't going to help them get it. Just move on to the next person. Come back to them in a month. Invite them to the next webinar. Put them on your email list so they get an email every other day or every week or however often you send them out, inviting them to webinars. And maybe a year down the road, 6 months down the road, maybe something will catch their attention. Maybe they get laid off from work. Maybe they have a bad day. Their boss is giving them crap and they go, man, this job sucks. I need something else. And all of a sudden, boom, they see that email and they're like, oh, he was telling me about that. I wonder how he's doing with that. You never know. But if you crush the communication line by doing things that people are unwilling to experience, it all goes away. And you end up feeling like, oh, it doesn't work and nobody likes it and everybody's stupid. No, they're not stupid. It's just that people have different awareness levels. And I could go back to when I was like 18, 19 years old. If someone came to me about a business like this, I'd have been like, what the hell are you talking about? It's not even a concept I could have had. I'm like, I'm going to college and I'm going to medical school. And I'm like, what am I going to mess with this for? Like, it just wouldn't have gone in. It's okay. People are coming of age and getting older and getting laid off of jobs and retiring with not enough Social Security and things like that every single day. So you've seen the presentation. Does that seem like something that's not at all for you, or would you like to move forward and learn more? Or do you want to just go ahead and jump in? And whatever the answer is, I'm okay with it. And usually, guys, honestly, by the time they get to this point, most of them are either ready to jump in or they want to learn more. If they weren't looking for something and they weren't strongly interested in looking at the data, they'd never get to that point. And if they tell me right in the beginning, where is it? Right here. Nah, I'm not really open to what is it? One of those things? Nah, I'm not open to it. Okay, cool. No problem. I'm done. You just saved yourself 20 minutes. Now, where does this break down? Where it breaks down is when you're not willing to put a list together to start. When you're not willing to make new contacts. Because then you get in a situation of scarcity of contacts where each one becomes important. Just like all the food in the world is gone and all that's left is one orange tree. Now that orange tree is worth $8 trillion and it's got, 60-foot high walls with razor wire and barbed wire and armed guards around it. The only reason why any of this is a problem is because of an unwillingness to reach out and contact people. Well, if you understand you have a repetitive process and all you have to do is go out on Facebook and find a guy and go, hey, we're friends on Facebook, but I don't have a clue who you are. What do you do? And he tells you what he does and you go, okay, great. Hey, listen, I wanted to ask you something. You got 60 seconds? Sure. Okay, great. So on to the next question. You just do it over and over and over. Now that's a business approach. I want to talk about a product approach because what I do is I switch off to a product approach here if they're not open to it. Then we can switch from a product approach to a referral approach. And maybe they say no all the way down the line and we do it. It's always friendly. It's always okay. I'm never interested in pressuring them. And I check them and I go, look, just I want to make sure you understand like this, you're not obligated to anything here. I mean, if you don't want to do it, if you're saying yes just to be nice to me, that's not okay. Like, tell me. You really want to do it or are you just trying to be nice? And sometimes they'll just be like, yeah, I don't really want to do it. Okay, good. Thank you for telling me. What? some of you think that's abhorrent. Why would I want to do that? Well, I want them to continue. Not if they don't want to, you don't. Who cares? What do you care if they want to continue or not? If you're in business with us doing what we're doing, we got 5, get 5, get 5, get 5. We all get rich. If I can't get 5 out of 100 or 150 contacts, I don't know what in the name of God I'm doing, but it just ain't that tough. So before I get into the product thing, I want to cover a little bit about our product. We have an amazing product that we're working with. People are flipping out about. Some of you previously knew I was promoting a streaming TV program, which turned out to be a nightmare because the owner of that company owes me quite a lot of money and is refusing to pay me. Last night I made an announcement that I cannot put a single person into that program until he straightens that out, and he's not going to straighten it out. So why he wants to drive someone like me away who could bring him 10,000 customers, I don't know, but that's what's happening. In any event, the last few weeks we've been building over at IXQ TV because I had people outside of the U.S. who wanted to build on that streaming TV concept, which is a phenomenal concept because everyone knows what TV is. I don't have to explain anything, and the service is beautiful. Most of these streaming services, 90% of them are illegal. The ones that are legal, most of them buffer and freeze constantly. It's a nightmare for people to try to watch it. Now, if they're in the business and they're like, well, I'm just buying it to qualify for the business, that's different, but that's not cool. Customers got to be happy with it. So I started putting people over at IXQ, like one of my first guys was a guy from the Philippines because he couldn't work with the other one. And so I was using the service. I'm like, man, this thing's, I have Seinfeld running 24 hours a day. It just never buffers. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. You know, watch the UFC, hours and hours and hours, no buffering. I'm like, what are these guys doing different? So I looked into it, met the owner, his son. It's a family-run business. My first question was, how many merchant processors have you been through in the since you started? And they have the same merchant processor, the same payment processor for 8 years, never had any trouble. Sometimes run 7 figures a month through it. Can't even spike the volume. For those of you who don't know why that's important, it probably doesn't matter, but with companies nowadays, network marketing companies, it's hard for them to find payment processors. If their volume spikes a little bit, their payment processor shuts them down. That's why you see companies will move, they're using PayPal, and then PayPal freezes them, and then they're using someone else, and they freeze them, and people can't get paid. It's just a problem. These guys don't have that problem. They've been paying on time every time for 20 years. They own Neutronics, vStream. They pay through an e-wallet. They can pay to any country in the world, 192 countries through the e-wallet, and any country through Bitcoin if need be. And the service is amazing. We now have, it says 3,000 channels. We actually just added about 5,000 international channels in about, 25, 30 different languages a couple days ago. So now we got 8,000 channels. It's only $39 a month for the customer. I mean, compared to Dish or DirecTV, Spectrum, Cox, it's not even a contest. We have all the movie channels, HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, Stars, Epics, just you name it, all the sports channels. You watch every game on Sunday, on Thursday, all the hockey games, all the NBA, all the MLB. There's whole sections for all of those. Tons of Spanish channels, UK channels, Filipino channels, German, French, Arabic, Pakistani, on and on and on and on. We don't have any box rentals. We don't have any contracts, no credit checks, no activation fees, no cancellation fees. Just an easier way to go, and people can try it for free. Nobody gets hurt. Nobody has any risk. And even if they use it for a couple weeks, if they're unhappy with it, the company will refund their money. No one gets hurt. No one has any risk. And one of the points I tell people, there's 23 criteria I look for. One of them is the product has to be demonstrable. If they have to believe you on the product before they buy it, that's a problem. Maybe not so much a problem for me, but a problem for you building your organization because you're unskilled salespeople who are coming in, right? What do? Well, they go out and they start presenting because they got to explain and they got to present. This slows everything down, gets people rejected and dejected. We don't have to do any of that. When we go here, if I put some information in front of you, can you look at it right away? There's a 15-minute video about the business. They watch it. If it's a product approach, it's a 2-minute video. Hey, I'm going to send you a 2-minute video. Can you watch it right now? Great. Did you watch it? Awesome. Does that seem like something you'd like to give a try for free? Sweet. I'll set you up. It's the easiest thing in the world. It's easy. Let's look at a product approach. Reach out to them with a text message. We say, hey, Bob, I wanted to ask you two questions. Got 1 minute? Bob says, yeah, what's up? I can dial the phone or I can just send another text. If I send another text, I go, question 1. What are you paying? By the way, we do these copy and paste. I don't type these. For my guys, I have them. They just copy and paste them. They're all written out already. What are you paying for cable TV? I don't put these numbers. I'm just numbering them for you. Bob says what? Sometimes Bob says, I don't have cable because the cable companies are crooks and I'm tired of them and I ain't doing it anymore. All right, well, let's use some common sense. What were you paying for cable? Well, I was paying $190 a month. Okay, good. But let's say he says he's paying $150 a month, which isn't uncommon. I would say something like, I'm going to put $110 per month back in your pocket starting today. If I send you a 2-minute video on how, will you look at it right away? Can you imagine building your business through text messages and you never even talk to anyone? Would you do better talking to them? Yeah, probably. It's faster. I mean, good Lord. Much easier can we make it? You could sit in your comfy chair in your office. You know, my chair's got a height adjustment, a lumbar support, an incline adjustment. I got this thing where I can put my feet up on it. My heater's right here blowing on my feet. You know, it's cold here in Tennessee right now. I got my what's left of my coffee here, and then I got another cold drink here. I mean, oh, this is so rough. I mean, the back-breaking labor that I'm subjected to build this business, it's just too much to confront. It's hard. It's so hard to sit in this chair and send text messages. I mean, come on. You want to turn your life around? Do you? Let's get to work. I've never had anybody on this say, no, I don't want to do that. 2 minutes? Sure. Great. They watched the video. After the video, did you watch it? Yes, I did. Great. That seem like totally not for you at all? Or would you like to do a free trial to put it through its paces? How many ways can you phrase it? Did you watch it? Yeah, I watched it. Cool. Don't believe me. Well, let's do this. The service is awesome. And it is, guys. It's like so much better than anything we've used in the past. I mean, it's like a whole new standard. Service is awesome, but don't believe me. I don't know how to spell. Awesome, but don't believe me. Don't believe me. Try it yourself. I can set you up a free trial right now. Ready? What's our market? Our market is 780. Give me a second. Our market is 780 million people right now paying for cable TV and satellite. See, I don't want to hear about, oh, my friend is, he's got his $12 a month Netflix and he's perfectly happy with it. What do I say to him? Nothing. If you have that question, you haven't been paying attention to anything I've said. Are you happy with Netflix? Awesome. Hey, who do you know who might be open to a really good opportunity where they can make some serious money in a very simple way? 700. This is just the top 5: digital cable, analog cable, pay, satellite, not including. See, this year about 30 million people went from cable and satellite over to streaming TV. We're in a massive mega trend. But still in the world, from what they can measure, there's about 780 million people on digital cable and pay satellite. A lot of these countries aren't even at the point where they have digital cable infrastructure yet. So the number of people, you see, it's still going up. This is back to 2016. This is higher now. I don't know what it is now. The market is so huge, it's unbelievable. And you see it everywhere. Cut the cord, cut the cord. You're watching on cable and you're seeing ads for cut the cord. Everybody's cutting the cord. And you know what they're doing? They're finding services that are buffering like crazy and it's driving them nuts. And they're finding companies that aren't paying people on time and their customer support sucks. And we come along, we've got amazing customer support. We pay on time every time. We have amazing stream that doesn't buffer. We even have low bandwidth channels, so they only need 2 megabits per second to stream it. Now just imagine, you can't put 100 people through this process and not end up with a group of customers or business partners. It's impossible. The only way you can mess this up is if you just don't work. Now let's talk about the transition from business. How would I typically do it? I would typically bust my lists up into customer approach, business approach. I would say these people I'm going to approach as customers. These people I'm going to approach as a business. I'm going to go back to just this one. I'm going to talk the texts. Business approach. Let's do a customer approach. Hey, Mom, I need to ask you something. You got 60 seconds? Yes. What is it, sweetheart? All right. What are you paying for cable TV right now? I'm paying whatever I'm paying. I'm paying $140 a month. Okay, great. So I'm going to put $100 a month back in your pocket today. If I send you a 2-minute video, can you watch it right now? Sure. Great. After the video, you call her up. You go, did you watch the video? She says, yes. Great. Does that seem like something you'd like to go ahead and get started with, or would you prefer to do a trial for 24 hours first to make sure? Well, I don't think it's for me. Okay, good. No problem. See, there is no fight here. There's no arguing. I don't do any of that. Do a business approach. Hey, Bill, wanted to ask you 2 questions. You got 60 seconds? Yeah, I got 60 seconds. Great. He's willing to communicate. Question 1. You are doing accounting work, I know, and I'm just wondering, are you married to that? Because we got something really happening over here, and I'm wondering, are you at all open to looking at a way that's simple, that's sensible, of creating another significant income stream for yourself? Yeah, I probably would be. Great. If I put some information in front of you, can you look at it right away? Sure. Great. It's 15 minutes. I'll call you back in 16 minutes. Cool? Yeah, okay, cool. All right, great. Send him the presentation, text it, email it, whatever he's good with. And I call him back and I go, did you watch the presentation? He says, yes. I say, great. Does that seem like something that's completely not for you? Or does that seem like something you'd like to move forward and learn more about? Or are you ready to get started? And he'll pick whichever one he wants, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes they say, yeah, I'd like to get started. Sometimes they say, nah, I don't think it's for me. And sometimes they say, well, what about this? And they ask you questions. And in our team, you don't even have to do that. Because what I teach is if they want to know more, don't bother answering their questions. Just get them on a call with me. Set up a meeting with me. We'll do a Zoom hangout. We'll do a webinar. We'll do a 3-way call. What do you got to do? You just do this. Basically, you're doing this right here. Hey, are you a person there? You are. Would you like to communicate? You would? Great. Are you open to this? You are? Great. Would you look at some information? Awesome. Did you look at the information? Okay, cool. Not for you, or you want to learn more? You want to learn more? Great. Let's get on a meeting with my partner. Oh, you ready to join? Okay, great. Here's my link. It's fast. Instead of thinking in terms of the 5 people you know and how to sell them and convince them and tell them about how crappy of an idea it is for them to keep working a job and have a boss on their case all the time, which is an absolute terrible way to do it because you're making them wrong. Think about how you're going to do this to 100 people a day. After a while, you start caring you stop caring who they are. It doesn't matter. You're either willing to communicate or not. If you're still in the zone where you care what people think, you're not ready to excel in a business. If you're still in a zone where you care what people think, you're not ready to excel in a business. However, if you have a lousy product that you're promoting, that can cause you to restrain yourself. If you're selling a lotion or a potion or a juice that's $180 a month, and yeah, you just wouldn't ask your grandmother to spend that money. I mean, she made it to 94 without it. Well, yeah, you're going to restrain yourself. You're not going to do it. When you have a product you know people are going to love, or they get to try it first and tell you if they love it beforehand, there's no restraint. Now let's do an approach, a business contact who isn't open. Hey, Tony, I want to ask you a couple questions. You got 60 seconds? Yes, I do. Great. Question 1. Are you married to making pizzas, or are you at all open to looking at a sensible, simple way of creating another income stream? No, I love making pizzas. I dream about making pizzas. It's all I ever wanted to do, and I don't want to do anything else. Okay, great. Question 2. Remember I said I had 2 questions? Disrelated. Question 2. What are you paying for cable TV right now? I'm still qualifying him, aren't I? But now I'm qualifying him for the product. Oh, cable TV, don't get me started. I think my bill last night was like last month was $250 because my kids were ordering pay-per-view, and I told them not to do it, and blah, blah, blah. All right. Wow. That's a lot. So I'd like to put $200, $215 a month back in your pocket. There's a 2-minute video that will explain how. Can you watch it right now? Sure. Okay, great. I'll call you in 3 minutes. Did you watch the video? Yes, I did. Great. Would you like to give that a trial to test it first, or would you like to just go ahead and get started? Which one's easier for you? And if he doesn't want to do it, he'll tell you, and you go, okay, cool. Hey, could I ask you a third question? I know I said I had 2, but I have 3. If he says no, who do you know? Would you be willing to introduce me to 5 people you know who have cable, so I can just send them a quick text, see if maybe they'd like to save some money? Or, I mean, if you have people you know and you enjoy seeing them flush money down the toilet, that's okay too. But would it be okay if I asked you to connect me with 5 people that you know? And if it's not okay, it's not okay. All I'm going to do is send them a text. If they don't want to look at it, they won't look at it. I'll never bug them again. So what have we done? We've given you the exact formula for both the business approach and the product approach. We've shown you a product that has a crazy conversion rate that people are already paying for a way worse version. We give them 8,000 channels for 1/4 of what they're paying, which is the easiest sale in the world. No risk of loss to them for anything. No way anybody gets hurt. They get to try it first to prove to themselves that they love it. They don't even have to believe you. And then I've shown you how to turn 10 leads into 50. And you could do all 3 in the same call. You don't have to. You could make all your calls referral calls. Hey, Mom, I want to ask you something. You got 60 seconds? Yes, I do. Great. Who do you know with cable TV? What do you mean? I mean, cable TV. Do you know anybody who has cable TV? Well, sure I do. Great. Who'd you think of? Well, my friend Mary has cable TV. Okay, great. Would you mind if I sent Mary a text message? Well, no, I wouldn't mind. Why would I mind? I don't know. But can I get her number? Sure. Right. Who else do you know with cable TV? Now, at some point, mom's going to go, why are you asking me this? Well, that's a good question. What are you paying for cable TV? Well, I'm paying okay, good. I want to save you some money. Look, before I text Mary, I want you to watch a 2-minute video. See, it doesn't matter which of the three it is. It doesn't matter if you're doing it in one call or one text session or 2 or 3. You could do one for the business, right? And then a week later, reach out to them and ask if they'll introduce you to 5 people. Guys, it's okay. It's okay for you to ask people. You're not hurting them. It's okay for you to let them know it's not an obligation. Listen, I want to ask you something. Maybe you'll say no. If you say no, it's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But I was wondering, would it be okay if I asked you to connect me with 5 people you know who have cable TV? They may say, well, why? Well, I need to find some people who have cable TV so I can save them a whole bunch of money. Would it be all right if I saved your friends some money? Well, maybe, but what exactly is it? All right, I can see that you're going to need to be brought up to speed on this. I'm going to send you a 2-minute video. Can you watch it right now? Sure. I mean, I'm just doing whatever I need at that moment, all within the context of this. Now, this may take a little bit of drilling. The good news is that inside our team resources, the texts are written out. You just copy and paste them. You keep this up on the screen, right? Get yourself Google Voice. You put the Google Voice interface right up here on your screen, and it's got a big field here, just like on Twitter, and you type the text right there. When someone tells you this, you could type it right on your keyboard. You don't have to thumb it in. And over here on your notepad, you got your text, and you just copy and paste them, right? You don't even have to right-click. You can just do Command-C or Control-C. I don't know what happened there. Copy, paste, copy, paste. The question is, are you willing to get to work? Are you willing to put your hour or 2 a day and make it happen? And if you decide to become part of this team, 5, get 5, get 5, get 5, and we all hit it big. Pays deep, pays all the way down. Get paid on referrals of referrals of referrals of referrals of referrals through matching bonuses and residual payments. But you can apply this to whatever you're doing. If you apply this to some typical overpriced nutritional product, like some kind of a juice, provided you do it properly, out of every 10 people you get through this step who say, yeah, I might be open to looking at something, one of them will join your business. If you want to get 5 out of 10, come work with us. The way that we do it is when we have a new member come aboard, where there's a certain onboarding process we put them through to get them into our team resources. And there's stages that they go through to learn this process, which is a little bit more in depth than this and has a flow charts and all this stuff. And we get them up and running. We also have sales funnels that are specific to this particular program. And we also have internal traffic co-ops, lead packages, ringless voicemail packages for leads. Thank you for your time. Went longer than I was expecting. Apologies for that. But I did want to get you this data, and we'll talk soon, guys. All right. Have a great night. Bye.